Bucky Barnes is the biggest nerd in the MCU. I'm gonna prove it to you. In the Disney Plus series Falcon and the Winter Soldier, while arguing with Sam about the potentially magical origins of the superpowered Flag Smashers, Bucky makes this joke.
So who are you fighting now, Gandalf?
Sam's confused about how Bucky even knows who Gandalf is, and Bucky explains,
I read The Hobbit in 1937 when it first came out.
It seems like a fun little Easter egg, right? Giving Bucky his own version of...
I understood that reference.
But here's the thing, The Hobbit wasn't a massive phenomenon when it first released. In fact, in 1937, when Bucky said that he read this book, there were only 4,500 copies in existence. Not only that, but all of them were located in Great Britain. The book didn't make its way to the United States until 1938, a full year afterwards. That means that for Bucky to have read this book in 1937, like he says, he would have needed to have been a super fan of British children's fantasy novels and then also have gotten the book specially imported to his location in Brooklyn. So, to wake up and suddenly realize that the Lord of the Rings franchise was this massive hit must have been like the best surprise ever for Bucky. Hopefully he found a way to binge watch his way through the Peter Jackson films between missions, because
the Stormtroopers in Star Wars have good aim, and I can prove it. We all know the joke. Stormtroopers have awful aim. Even the Mandalorian makes fun of it.
Former Imperial sharpshooter.
That's not saying much.
And one look at the data proves it. As Luke, Han, and Chewie attempt to break Leia out of the Death Star, there are a staggering 119 blaster shots missed. But if they had such awful aim, why would they be so feared across the galaxy? Obi-Wan even says,
only Imperial Stormtroopers are so precise.
And remember, he was a general in a galactic war. He knows what he's talking about. So what's happening here? Well, look back at the Death Star escape. As our heroes fly away, Grand Moff Tarkin says this.
Sure, the homing beacon is secure aboard their ship.
They attached a tracking device to the Millennium Falcon, but you wouldn't do that to a ship whose pilots you were planning to capture or kill. No, what's happening here is Grand Moff Tarkin wanted them to escape so the tracking beacon would lead them to the rebel base. And the Stormtroopers were ordered to miss everything to make it seem real. It was a big brain 40 chess move played by the Empire. But I guess the trick worked too well because now no one believes that
the villains in Black Panther movies always wear blue because it's the color of the police. I know that's controversial, but it's the truth. The colors of the costumes in Black Panther matter a lot. Some choices are obvious. The royal family wears purple, the river tribe wears green for fertility. Other color choices have deeper roots. The warrior women of the Dora Milaje, for instance, wear red, inspired by the Maasai tribe of Kenya and Tanzania. To them, red symbolizes courage, bravery, and strength. The Wakandan merchant tribe, meanwhile, wear silver, dusty purple, and have face coverings. This is inspired by the Tuareg people from Mali, Niger, and Algeria. Historically, they were nomadic, traveling long distances across the desert, hence the head covering and the veil. But it's the villains who have the most controversial color choice. Both Killmonger and Clow have blue as their main color. The border tribe that sides with Killmonger, also blue. And in Wakanda Forever, Namor's people, blue again. But why? Well, according to costume designer Ruth Carter, it's because director Ryan Coogler
made a connection to the police, so the border tribe was blue.
Blue equals police and colonization, both villains to the black community as he sees it. That's why the Waffle House has not only found its new host, but it's also found a way to tell you how bad a hurricane is. It's called the Waffle House Index. Yes, this is a very real thing used by the very real government. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, uses the Waffle House Index as a gauge for how severely a hurricane has damaged a given area. Because Waffle House is open 24/7, 365, anytime the restaurant closes, that's gonna be a big deal. In 2004, during Hurricane Charlie, former administrator Craig Fugit created the index after he noticed that Waffle House was one of the last places that remained open. The extent of Waffle House's operations actually shows the severity of the disaster, and it's broken down into 3 key levels. Green, everything is running as usual and they're serving a full menu. Damage is therefore low. Yellow, there's a limited menu due to low supplies and power is coming from a generator. Red, the restaurant is closed and there's likely a zombie apocalypse, or at least some unsafe condition in the area. So the next time a hurricane makes its way to your area and you're not exactly sure how severe it is, don't worry, because hello, Internet! Welcome to Style Theory, where we believe that beauty is a science. You ever wonder if you could use your high heels as a weapon? If female fantasy armor would be useful in any way? If school uniforms are actually doing any good for the world? Or if washing your legs in the shower really is necessary? Well, if any of those questions have ever crossed your mind, you, my friend, are a style theorist. And you should stiletto smash that subscribe button to join our community of 36 million theorists strong. How's anime affecting fashion? Why do these pants make my butt look big? What color should you really be wearing for your skin tone, and why are modern laundry machines making your clothes dirtier than they've ever been before? We're answering all of these questions and more as we break down beauty myths and scientifically test the hacks that'll save you time and money, all while going deeper into international style history across the globe. So go on, become a style theorist, subscribe to the channel, and pick yourself an episode, because let's be honest, the best way to look is smart. I hate mannequins. They are so creepy. Soulless plastic bodies that might be missing limbs, blank faces with dead features. They fall perfectly into that uncanny valley that puts us all on edge. There's a reason they're always around for the scares in places like Doctor Who and Resident Evil. What if I told you that the mannequins that we know and fear today have nothing on what we used to use 100 years ago? Feast your eyes on this. No thanks. I'd hate it. And yet mannequins like these were all the rage back in the 1920s. The age that brought us flappers and speakeasies also gave us these lifelike mannequins that were made up of wax skin, glass eyes, porcelain teeth, and human human hair. The guy behind this nightmare fuel was named Pierre Amat, a Dutch mannequin designer living in Paris, and he took his job seriously, even going so far as to give his creations names like Elaine and Roberta. All that was missing was like a child's soul infused into the flesh. All those details made them way too expensive to produce for the growing demand of stores, which led us to the modern plastic and fiberglass designs that we have today. Can you imagine what one of these hyper-realistic wax mannequins would look like if it was melting away in the hot sun? As if I needed more reasons to say, I know Victoria's Secret, and it's not what you think. It's a question that's been asked by consumers, models, and has even had a song written about it. And after years of speculation, I finally figured it out. The answer is that Victoria is a man. You see, the person behind Victoria and her secret is actually a man named Roy Raymond. Why did he want to sell lingerie? Well, as the story goes, he wanted to get his wife a certain kind of garment without feeling like an unwelcome intruder in all the stores that sold it. Not to mention that the selection in stores felt unappealing and dowdy to him. Okay, so that's understandable. What's not understandable, though, naming your fancy underwear store after Queen Victoria, you know, the grandmother of Europe, seems confusing, but Raymond actually chose the name for the Victorian era's reputation, one of class and propriety. But what about the secret? Well, you can probably guess that part. So the next time you and your friends walk by the store, you'll be able to tell them, your clothes are ruining your life. How long did it take you to decide what to wear today? These shoes with that shirt, that sweater with those pants. Each of those possibilities was a choice, and those little decisions add up. It's called decision fatigue. Your brain is kind of like a muscle, and muscles get tired when they're overworked. You are making upwards of 35,000 separate decisions each and every day. Some of them are easy, some of them are harder, but all of them are working out your brain, giving it decision fatigue, which is why every night I wind up giving up on my diet and just eating a whole bunch of ice cream. I just have no willpower left to make a good decision. How then does your fit into this? What if instead of a dozen decisions on what to wear, you instead only have to make one? Steve Jobs famously wore the same black turtleneck and jeans each and every day to reduce the amount of decisions that he had to make. And it's not just him either. Barack Obama, Mark Zuckerberg, even me with this red jacket. Does it work? Yeah, actually, thanks to planning. Planning has been scientifically shown to ease your brain strain. Meal prep, to-do lists, picking the same outfit, all of it is reducing decision fatigue. So go ahead, pick out a pre-selected outfit and stop having to say, you can break reality through fashion. Take a look at these gravity-defying dresses from Paris Fashion Week 2023. Notice how the gowns seem to float off the models, even cutting straight through them? It blew the audience's mind. Or, I suppose it would have if they hadn't had their faces buried in their phones, which is exactly what Dutch fashion house Victor and Rolf was trying to unpack with this collection. Not surprising, given how they've gone viral for previous collections because people thought they'd been photoshopped. This one was personal. According to the designers, their goal was not just to present beautiful clothes and make headlines, but to make a statement on how we as a culture consume and interact with the world around us via our phones. Rolf said to Vogue Runway, quote, there is a disconnect between what we see and the physicality of the product. When we're looking at the world through a screen, it's hard to tell what's actually real. From filters to Photoshop, anything can be faked. Right now, I can make you think that I'm sitting front row at Fashion Week, when in reality, I'm just alone in front of a green screen in the attic of my house. So don't be like those people at Fashion Week, my friends. Remember to look up from your phone and you'll see how you my type? My skin type, that is. I didn't even know I had a skin type until way too late in my life, but it saved me a lot of headaches in my teenage years, helped me find the right cleanser or moisturizer. The American Academy of Dermatology actually divides skin into 5 different types: normal, dry, oily, combination, and sensitive. Normal skin means, hey, congratulations, you just won yourself the genetic lottery and everything is working as intended. On the opposite ends, we find ourselves dry skin and oily skin. Dry skin produces less natural oils, meaning it's gonna be rough and flaky. Oily skin, as you can probably guess, produces too much of the stuff. This then can lead to more acne, but on the positive side, you're also less likely to get wrinkles when you get older. Combination skin is what happens when dry and oily skin love each other very much and decide to have themselves a baby. One size fits all skincare products are not gonna work for you. Then finally, there's the bonus category, sensitive, which you can have in addition to any of the previous types, with the added joy of being more likely to have reactions to outside stimuli, like makeup ingredients and added fragrances. So, tell me, there is no way that Cinderella's mice could have fixed her dress. Of course, Cinderella's ball gown is iconic. But do you remember this dress? The original pink dress that the evil stepsisters ripped to shreds? That one that her friends, the singing dancing mice, help her to fix? Can you, Susie? Can you make her dress so pretty? I disagree. While mice certainly are smart creatures that are known to leave trail markers and have themselves complex communication systems, they aren't able to use complex tools. Then what about the bluebirds? Well, bluebirds are indeed incredible puzzle solvers, but again, they're not great crafters. You know what are great crafters though? Crows. The new Caledonian crow can use its beak like a pair of scissors, crafting hooks in order to retrieve food. Again, super impressive, but can they sew an entire dress? Well, with the time and training, yeah, maybe. Baby crows, when shown a video of humans teaching them how to use tools, were able to replicate what they had been shown. So, while a crow might be able to stitch together all that torn fabric, we know for a fact that I need this Barbie. Susan Wojcicki, former CEO of YouTube who stepped down in February, she now has herself a Barbie. It is a one-of-a-kind role model doll. It's part of an International Women's Day series to honor leaders in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Whatever you think of Susan, there's no denying her impact on the online world. She was the one who came up with Google AdSense, which is where Google shares part of its ad revenue with all us online creators and websites. She was also one of the key figures that got Google to purchase YouTube back in 2006, leading to all the cat videos, makeup tutorials, and Let's Play videos that you see here today. But it turns out the most surprising thing about Susan getting her own Barbie isn't about Susan at all. It's about the fact that there are 3 Wojcickis all getting a Barbie this year. Susan has herself 2 sisters, Anne and Janet Wojcicki, and they too are being honored in this year's collection. Janet is a professor of pediatrics and epidemiology at the University of California, San Francisco, and Anne is co-founder and CEO of the DNA testing service 23andMe. I suppose that the family that slays together stays together, immortalized in plastic.